Getting ready to weld a 4AN bung onto my post intercooler piping. Do a little practice here. Came out pretty decent. I got this all sanded down, cleaned up, got it degreased as best as I could. I got this little clamp on it so I can tack it real quick. And then, yeah, hopefully I don't screw up this pipe because it's got another piece welded on there and another bung welded on for the IAT sensor. So there'll be a lot of welding if I screw this up, but I'm feeling pretty confident after these two I did a semi-half decent job on. Let's get to it. Not too bad. A little gloopy. Not very straight, but it's definitely sealed. Couple craters from letting off, but not bad for my first ever like 4AN sized bung on this type of tube. Working on replacing some stuff. Got all new coil wires made because I was having some issues with these really old boots. I also got a 6-inch longer oil feed because it was always hugging the turbo and hugging the angle gear. Even though the turbo has a turbo blanket on it, you can see like this is a disaster waiting to happen. So I got some DEI silicone fire sleeve, 3/8 inch diameter, and I'm going to slide this on. And we're going to have some extra protection on this line, and now that it's longer I can route it in a way where it's not even going to be close to the turbo blanket or angle gear really. So I'm going to get that on and get some of this stuff fixed up because that could have been bad if that oil line burned. Got the DEI heat shield on. The 3/8 fits perfect. Just got to slide it over. It's a pretty tight fit, but I bought some of these clamps a while ago and I've been looking for an excuse to use them, so I put those on. They're obviously not tight enough to crush the hose. This is PTFE hose. It is very, very strong hose, so that's not a problem, but just to stop the sleeve from moving up and down at all. It's a pretty tight fit as it is, but nothing wrong with a little extra flare every once in a while. Got some new brake lines as well. You can see, these are the old ones. You can see how stretched they get. And I'll do a clip of the new ones that I put on and you can see how much more room they have. You can see it's still not bottomed out all the way. So I mean, if this thing were to ever fully bottom out, you know, bye-bye brake lines and no brakes at the end of your quarter-mile pass. Uh-oh. This side, you can see we are fully bottomed out. Fully bottomed out. And now we got quite a bit more room on these, so no more stretching these out. So happy with that, and I think these are gonna work a lot better. Got all my new plug wires installed. They fit great. Went with black. Gonna be changing a lot of this stuff over to black, all the radiator hoses, all the vacuum, blah, blah, blah. The other thing I fixed is I finally upgraded this to 14 gauge power going to the connector. Before it was just like the stock Volvo 18 gauge. So I got a connector, crimped them all, and got everything good. So now we got 14 gauge all the way for all the coils. I also cleaned up my wideband wiring a ton. You can see we got a little ground connector down here now, and also just resheathed all this and repinned it all and made it a lot cleaner, and eliminated that annoying little red wire that was going here. Just looked horrible. So that's all good to go. That's all sturdy now, and got to finish up some boost stuff and should get this thing running again soon. All right, let's see if I can do this all with one hand. Undo the plug, get a little sample, and record it. This will be fun and not spill it everywhere. I got good distance. I'm gonna back a little bit. Oh, this is gonna be piping hot. Sorry, burning my fingers. It's pretty clean. Got a little sample there. Looks pretty clean. Got a decent sample. Might send it out to Blackstone. It's a little watery, but I mean, it is really hot right now. I cleaned this pan out too before I dumped it, so we'll see if there's any particles, but you can see it's very green. It's supposed to be a very green oil. But it looks pretty good. It looks like I also need to move this forward a little bit. Oh yeah. Oh, it looks really good. I'll let this drain out. We'll see how the pan looks after and then pull the filter. Really clean pan. And there's a tiny bit of shimmer. A lot of these are all bubbles. There's like, it's really clean. I'm really happy with that. I'm gonna reposition the stand and we'll pull the filter, see how that looks. Filter looks really clean so far. I don't see anything bad in it. No real metal coming off it. Let's dump out the contents of the housing. Let's see. A little bit of shimmer. I mean, there's like the tiniest amount. It's probably nothing. No chunks. You can see that looks like bearing material right there where there's no oil, but that's not. That's just the color of the housing down there. That wipes off. Pretty clean. I mean, there's definitely no bearing material in the soil. I know what bearing material looks like because I spun bearings lots of times. Looks good to me. So in the one clip, you probably saw me get a little sample. For the first time, I sent a sample out to Blackstone Laboratories, and I've been wanting to do this for forever, just to check on the health of the engine. It should be, say, E85 up here. Anyway, like I said, I'm running the Pen Grade Partial Synthetic 20W50, and this oil had 600 miles on it, probably like 6 months too. I haven't changed this since like last October or September. But yeah, they said it's working really well. The oil maintained good physical properties, and there's no measurable contamination. Copper and silicone did test a little bit high. But it might just be lingering wear. And again, this motor only has like 2,000 miles on it, so that's like nothing. So keep changing that, and that should wash out. And then they may see a progress in aluminum and iron, since these are elevated on a per mile basis. So those might start to rise as the mileage goes up. And they say a little extra metal might be normal for how I run this engine. I told them it's 800 horsepower, and I told them I run it to 8,500 RPM like all the time. They said it's in really good health, the oil. So here are all the contents. And then all of the universal averages are over here. So everything's well within spec. You can see I have a lot more phosphorus and zinc. That's because this oil, this Pen Grade oil, has extra phosphorus and zinc. And then what I was really curious about is the viscosity. So it should be between 75 and 95, and it was only 85. So that's pretty good. That means we're not having excess contamination from the E85. And the flash point and everything was in spec, and the fuel percent. So you can see it has less than 0.5% E85, no antifreeze, no water, no insolubles. So this is very good. This is just makes me feel very good that this engine has been doing very well, and it seems to be in fantastic health, at least from the oil analysis. Exciting. Pretty happy with the small couple things I did. Replaced all these plug wires with new ones, black. Gonna be going with all black silicone too, soon, by the way. That's gonna be happening soon. Really happy with the new boost control. You can see we're using 2-port now, running it through some DEI sleeving. I was originally trying to use some of these clamp thingies, but I didn't want those hoses to be directly exposed to all the heat back there. We got my solenoid mounted over here. See, it's mounted right there. Got all the hoses coming out of it. And then it's kind of hard to see, but there's a port down there that actually runs to the bottom of the gate. So now the bottom of the gate is referenced to post intercooler, so that'll automatically take into account any intercooler pressure drop. The new wideband wiring is working great. Yeah, also running the new VolSquirt version 1.8. Doing some testing on this car, did a bunch of testing on that car. That's going to be coming very soon, and pretty happy with how the engine bay is looking right now, but we still need to do a little bit more cleaning up, and I want to get some socks. They make special socks for these actually, so you don't have to put a rag around them, because they do kind of puke a little bit of oil. Maybe I might change up this intake setup a little bit to give some more clearance there, but the bay's coming along. Got to clean that filter, maybe get a new one. I don't know. Got a bunch of things coming up, guys. Stay tuned. It's going to be about it for this video, guys. Oil's looking good. I got to get some ordered. It's about to be 4th of July weekend, and I think I want to do a little bit of relaxing maybe. I made a lot of progress this week and last weekend on the car, and I'm happy. So I'm going to get some oil ordered up, and I got a whole bunch of other stuff I'm going to be ordering now that we fix these flanges, and oil's looking good. Got a bunch of other little mini projects I want to start working on, and we can start talking about some of our other plans soon. And I'm really looking forward to messing around with this thing again.